Hello there. Welcome again to 365 Days Towards Racial Change. My name is Thomas Nyback, and we're here at day 234, moving right along. 120 some, or 130 some days left, 132. Ooh. Moving right along, trucking right along. But fortunately, we got plenty of material to wade through. We'll never be at a loss for 1 year, right? We got 400 or 500 years to wade through, and plus a little bit of entertainment and fiction thrown in there, current events. So we've got plenty of material. We're here talking about black issues in America, from politics, domestic policy, incarceration, history, Jim Crow economics. If you name it, hopefully I've touched on it. If not, please comment. These videos are public as long as we don't get crazy with comments. We can have a nice little community here. If you want to get on my private email list, feel free. You don't get any, the content's no different. Just get to me a lot quicker in that way. Okay. I'm concerned about black thinking of everyone, but mostly black and white. Black thinking, though, as far as what do blacks understand and know about who they are, their identity in America, how to align black resources, to break any misconceptions, denial about being black in America. Understanding that black people have a very unique set of problems historically, systemically, into the roots of America. It's not just that black people have a history of being mistreated in America. It's understanding the agenda created by a whole nother group against black Americans. Any traction that black Americans obtain, receive, get in America is going to be preceded and effectively controlled by other forces that are going to make sure they stay in a certain place in relation to black folks. Don't ever get that confused. And that's what I mean. Like, I think black folks, some black folks, feel that they're participating, they are included, they are right in lockstep that the power majority is doing everything it can to get blacks on board, competitive, and all this stuff. And I'm here to challenge that, right? And I'm one perspective. Got plenty of black folks doing well. Our entertainers, our sports people. Football season is back. Except for what the NFL did to Mr. Kaepernick for, his stand against racism in America through the NFL. Very powerful voice. I'm still going to be a football fan. I like football. Great to go to sleep on a long Sunday afternoon of hard work preparing to go back to work again. That's a whole nother subject. But black people, I don't want them to look at those achievements of those great athletes and all those inroads and stuff and think that that is a demonstration or affirmation of black success in America. That's the cream of the crop. That's a minority of a minority. Those men and women participating at that level. And then my concern also for the white mind. you know, um, and I have a lot of white friends. Just the beginning of this, back in the when I first started this, I was like, how do I navigate these strong feelings about black people and these concerns with my white friends, and the majority of my friends are white people. And uh, granted, I'm not banging, um, drumming their heads with all this information. I'm living my life, but I do understand that not all white people um, are engaged in keeping black folks at a disadvantage in America. I recognize that. Since a lot of my friends are white, therefore, they're my mentors, examples, people I talk to about questions, you know, uh, you know, because they are positioned. They've never had to navigate or perceive American life uh, from black skin. There's a difference there. So, there's in little ways, I tell them about this project and things like that, but recognizing that they are not, if they were engaged in purposefully disadvantaging black folks, I wouldn't hang with them anyway. But having said that, I wonder about white minds, if they understand that unique space of privilege, expectation of favor in this country, always in control, never sharing a whole lot of things, power and wealth aspects, and do they understand that unique position they have in the world? I just saw something on CNN, or watch CNN a lot. South Africans beginning to be stirred up about securing the land back to themselves, right? The white minority has been in control, and there's some jitters now going on concerning them and their desire to be back in control of their land. Right? They have their neighbors in the north. Apparently had a recent movement. I'm not really up on the specifics, but the idea is that I think the world's waking up in a huge way, in a big sense, and people are like, this group has come, kind of invaded, used force, guns, and other means to secure control, extract resources, use indigenous people as labor, and do little to make lives better. And any policy that is about making life better for those underneath the echelons of power, always includes some betterment for the higher power structures. A simple equation, and it keeps a level of fixity between black and white folks. Right? Hard to cross. We get our outliers, our entertainers that excel and shoot up, but they're, like I said, they're outliers. They're a minority of a minority. They are, I shouldn't say never, but I've not seen anyone like any well-to-do black person forward a black agenda. It's always they have navigated a white system and succeeded. Some differences there. That's a little off topic. We might get into some of that discussion on our voting series right here, right now. Today, in a few more days, talk about voting. Before I get off the introduction, I'm going to talk about Black financial literacy, knowing what money is, how it works, and all that. This recession scare cycle. We recognize, who that impacts, who that affects. Businesses and stuff. At least if we tank this time, we can't. It won't be focused on the housing market. Or there'll be some other issues going on. Right now, trade wars, the rhetoric in the wind, but being financially literate would actually put you a little bit at ease, because financial literacy will help us understand boom and bust cycles, that the way finances are structured in the world, it goes like that. You have an upswing, and then you're going to go down for a little bit, and an upswing, and you'll see that line steadily go upward, even in the midst of even a drastic dip in the economy. But look over time, get some perspective, and you'll see it's cyclic, always with a trend going upwards in volume and value to a degree, although value is demonstrated by inflation, but inflation is a devaluing of overall monetary strength of those dollars you have in your pocket. I heard one person on CNN say, well, she withdrew her resources and turned them into cash. Well, financial literacy will show you that cash isn't what it is anyway. I just watched. I'm glad I remembered this. I like a lot of black and white stuff, so that's going to include a lot of westerns, obviously. But there's a movie called Track Down, and the star in the movie got bit by a snake and he passed out and all that. But he was hauling a prisoner to justice, and the prisoner took care of him and all that. And the prisoner went through this bounty hunter's wallet and exchanged the for his cash. And the bounty hunter, had some feelings about that, but the criminal said, "Look, where I'm going, I need the gold. This cash is like worthless." And it was interesting to see that in black and white. Like, this is way back in the 60s, right? Late 50s at best. But it's an illustration of financial literacy. That this guy knew, because he was planning to cross the border, going to Mexico, and at that time, I guess, American dollars was a little shaky about that, and so he needed a gold. Gold is universal. Gold is global, right? So you convert your resources into something universal, not necessarily cash. But that's financial literacy. That's some of the things you gotta get a hold of. Read a book by a man named G. Edward Griffin, The Creature from Jekyll Island, and you'll understand my thought on those things. I'm inspired by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson, who can articulate everything you had or hear that's going to have his flavor on it somewhere. And I've read 3 of his works, which we reference heavily. Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. We're going to be in this text like I said, for a couple days, looking at question 42 about voting. And you'll see why we're taking our time, especially on this issue. Black labor, white wealth, social power, and economic justice. And Dr. Anderson's national plan to empower Black America. Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com. Behind me, you'll see the hashtag #US2 symbol. You'll find Black women there supporting one another, having their conversation. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, like a Black Facebook experience. If you can't find your flavor on the World Wide Web, then do what I did. Start your own little journey. Got a handful of private subscribers. You can get on and off my list just with a brief conversation, and it's done. And finally, we'll get back to this soon. Well, we got a lot of material to cover. We'll get back to story time. Again, Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe is a fictional illustration of some of the issues we're talking about here. A very important eye-opening book. I've already read it. I've noticed that when I talk to people about it, their minds are blown because we think Uncle Tom's Cabin maybe is some little pamphlet about propaganda for racial equality or something. But this thing, it's a novel. It's a thick novel, and it'll take you on quite the journey. All right, okay, we're going to a voting seminar, maybe we'll call it, voting block, and we'll talk about voting. We got a little bit of over a year to go till November 2020, but you're not going to get through a week or even a day or two without hearing what the Democratic hopefuls are doing in their field and their initiatives and how they're making news and whatnot. So, this is good to dovetail. Of course, as you can expect, we're talking about voting issues exclusive to Black people. Black exclusivity, unashamed. We don't hear enough about it. There's not enough. And we've got a long way to go to get a hold of really grasping and appreciating this meeting. I didn't even appreciate it until I got into Dr. Anderson's work, because we're conditioned, we're schooled, to believe in public school anyway, to believe in this all-inclusive nation, that people are fighting for our rights, and we're in one big happy group trying to get the same thing and secure and whatever. But I've learned Dr. Anderson's writing and whatnot. America is competition. We're at each other's throats. It's amazing that we're not knifing each other more often. Listen, our uptick in mass shootings, I think, is the outgrowth of this attitude of competition in America. Someone is, well, first they may have mental issues to begin with, but it's exacerbated by maybe feeling a threat or thinking that they're being left behind. Well, whatever their issues are, is important to consider here as far as what we're looking at, what everybody's looking for. So voting is important because voting is, who wins the vote, the group that wins the vote, is much more likely to get whatever they're asking for. They're not just voting. They're not voting for symbols and tokens and lip service. People that vote get resources. They get what it is they're after. They have an expectation of securing some real tangible benefits, wealth, position, whatever. But it's tangible, it's measurable, you know, lip service and all that. It's not, civil rights, social integration. That's not measurable. And what I mean is by not measurable, I saw Dr. Anderson. He has a great joke that he starts off some of his talks with. He says, once you go to the finest hotel downtown or close to you, get the best room, order filet mignons and lobster, right, all day, all night. Wine, if you drink, I'm not for drinking. No drugs, but the best place. And, when you check out, say, if they ask you, okay, how you paying this, they notice you haven't reached for your credit card yet. You tell them you want to pay with civil rights and social integration. Oh, that cracks me up. I hope you get that joke. The idea is, those big terms and all these terms, they didn't secure wealth, position, power. A lot of that worked in reverse. So voting is important. You got to be on board with voting, what its purpose is, what it should do, what it does for many groups in America, but not black folks. All right, question 42. This is page 129 on the Black History Reader. It says, is there a voting guide for the average black voter? And what Dr. Anderson, he's going to do, which he does is lie. He's going to more explain the problem. The solutions are in there, but he's got to rattle our thinking, our understanding, our possible denial, black denial about our position before we can do any work. It's like having a disease, a grievous wound that we're unaware of. And so we need to be told, be made aware of it, and come to terms with it before a cure can happen for you in that circumstance. So this question, he's going to talk about overall in this question next few days. We need some tangible benefits. We need representation, tangible benefits for our votes. It's like I applied for this job or position at my job. I applied twice, denied twice, no problem. I won't go into a long story. But the second time, the same reason for the denial was just so bogus, And I don't apply for a job just to get lip service or feedback, especially at a place I've been at almost a year. I've performed, showed up. They really should come to me, tap me on the shoulder, and just tell me I've been promoted, rather than me apply, go through all these motions, have this expectation. But that's the same way with the voting issue in America. We, black folks show up and whatnot, and we're expecting to come out of the deal much better than we came into if our candidate wins. We voted for them because maybe they said there'd be some benefits for black folks. There'd be an easier way into America's wealth if we vote for them. Some tangible stuff. Not some of the intangibles to say that we can't be overtly discriminated against. We have maybe easier time getting to the voting booth and whatnot. Well, we know that those issues can be manipulated still. We have black people are not. It's not the norm for black people to be, exercising movement and freedom in a lot of areas in America. That's what we're talking about. So some tangible benefits would, remedy the ancient now reparations argument. Let's see more initiatives that make it less likely for black people to need to turn to crime just so they can maneuver in and out of their neighborhoods. Let's see some more investment in neighborhoods. We've got Flint, Michigan is still an issue. Water there, and other areas near industrial centers that are breeding grounds for cancer and a lot of health problems, things like that in America. Let's see more cleanup, more attention paid to the pollution of these places. That's a real issue because our president, this current administration, is undoing a lot of environmental protection things. They see the value of potential resources in some of these areas. They don't want to restrict refinement and industrial waste, expansion, things like that. They want to undo any restraint and have them plow full steam ahead without compensating or adjusting treatment of nearby communities. That's some of the tangible benefits and resources you get. If you send a politician with an agenda to clean up the environment, then when they get in office, the environment gets clean. That's what we are expecting here. Black folks, if you remember, like a couple days back, if you follow sequentially through racial change, you'll know we talked about historical precedent, where black folks are that silent group that appears in America, but we're talked about in the halls of power, and some good intentions, some strengthening of restraint on black people historically, and black people are not represented, have little say. This white power goes into some space, has a conversation, and they come out and they've decided how to deal with and handle black folks. Ain't not a black interest in the room. They want to look out for us and talk about our needs and our interests. That's a problem. So it would help if our black leader was black and made their presence known. Be exclusive. And listen, some people are shy about that and don't want to talk about it or work with that. But other groups are getting theirs. Hispanics are in the center of a lot of news cycles now. They went through the news cycle of the issues at the border. That's quieted down a little bit, but that's still a focus. the Jewish people concerns are focused right there in the spotlight. Palestinian issues, right? Because the congresswoman had some issues with getting over there to either and or push an agenda and see her grandmother. Those things were wrong. So that's our leaders. Voting's got to mean something. We got to get some results, tangible results after leaving that voting booth, and especially if our candidate wins. Next couple of days we'll talk about some more accountability and expectations of leaders who are put in office as a result of black folks voting. I'm not going to hold you hostage. Day 234 out of the way, 365 days towards racial change. My name is Tom Nyback. Please come back tomorrow. We'll continue our discussion on voting.